Yo, what's up, guys? It's T, and in this video, I think I'm just gonna make a beat from scratch. I'm not gonna do anything too specific, but it's gonna be a hip hop trap beat. I'm not sure what the feel is gonna be. I'm gonna make it like a slower song, like a slower, not too fast paced. So, I haven't even thought where to start. So I'm probably gonna start with the pads, or not the pads, the chord progression, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm gonna just kind of click around. Let me plug in my keyboard. I think I got it plugged in already. So just gonna play sounds. Okay, I'm gonna go to keys, I think, and just kind of look around. Some of them are kind of good. Okay, that one's crazy. Let me turn down. I guess I have my keyboard going nuts right now. Let me fix that real quick. My keyboard has like a brain of its own, I swear to God. It like does whatever it wants. It's crazy. It's still not playing. It's so weird. Like okay, anyways, back to what we were doing. So I'm gonna kinda see what I can find for chords. Now these keys aren't really lasting, they're not pads. Okay, I'm literally failing right now. So I'm gonna go to, let's see, retro textures. I don't know if I like that because it has that weird. I don't like that. Alright, let's pick that one. Even though it kind of swells, I'm not gonna let it swell like all the way. I'm not gonna let it swell for that long. I'm only gonna let it swell for a bar. And let me switch this to a bar or a beat. Okay, let me play that chord again. And then I'm gonna cut this because I didn't do it right. That way it's even with the bar and we don't end up copy and pasting something that's not on. So I'm gonna build the chord. Let me play it again. So we got C, let's see, G, what is it, E, C. And a helpful tip is if you click on a note, like if you just click on one, it's technically copied to your like clipboard, you know what I mean, of your piano roll. So like if you click this note, then you can paste that note anywhere, you know what I mean? So it's the same length, the same everything. Depending on where you click, and so that's that. And if we do this, if you shrink that down, my bad, and we click that, then we can, then we have that copied to our clipboard. So I mean, it's kind of like that, you know what I mean? So it kind of copies there. So that's helpful when you go and cut notes and you don't feel like redoing it again and stuff. So that's pretty helpful. Let me move this over to there. I'm gonna add the next. So we got 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 0. So 7 6 5 4. This is a major chord. So I'm gonna go into 7 8 9 10 11. And what I'm doing is counting up using scale codes. And to do that, you just count. And what you need more information on this. I can't just tell you in one quick sentence, but you basically count down and up in notes. And when you get to know the chord codes, 0 4 7 0 3 7 0 3 6. I think that's the augmented or diminished. I'm not sure. I have them written down somewhere. And there's a couple other chords, and then so they all tie together, and it's really, really easy to use them once that you learn how to do that counting. So what I would do if I were you, since I don't have a video of it yet, I would just Google it on YouTube. I would just look it up on YouTube. Chord codes. That's all you probably have to type in. Music theory chord codes. Honestly, if you look for busyworksbeats.com, that man's a legend. And he does a lot more in-depth teaching, because I don't really do in-depth teaching. I just kind of mess around with this and produce my own music. But he does really, really good in-depth teaching. And if you want to really, really buckle down on what you're doing, I would consider you know, checking out that channel. So anyways, let's see what this sounds like. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. I know it's really basic, but I mean, who says we have to make it complex? You know what I mean? So, let's see. I'm gonna clone this omnisphere and use that same sound for a melody. I think I'm gonna put on some drums and stuff first before I do all this. Let me go to, let's see. I'm gonna use whatever. You know, I'm just gonna use a couple of my own packs, I guess. I'm just gonna kind of mess around and, you know, match a sound that I like. I think I'm gonna pick that hi-hat. Alright, so I wanna pick a snap. I know I have a snap in here somewhere. Somewhere in here. Yeah, I just wanna pick that. And a kick. Something that is nice and punchy, not too bass heavy. I like that one. And that's in a, I downloaded this randomly one day, try samples pack, and I'm in the middle of making my own packs right now, so that's why they're not up here, but they will be sooner or later, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna pick that bass. I'm not gonna tune it yet. I'll tune it later. And maybe a cymbal or something. Crash. You can, you know, open hi-hats are good. I might grab that one. Let's see. Let's grab a. Let's see. I'm gonna grab. I don't even know yet. Jesus Christ, right? I'm just kind of looking. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of seeing what we can add. And I'm trying to find a cymbal really, but I don't like that one. The way my drum kits are organized is terrible. I guess I'll pick that one. I'll tune it down or something. I think that's what it needs. So let's fill in our patterns now. Let's go to pattern 1, and I'm gonna click pattern 1 because when you don't, if you don't click pattern 1, then it'll just. Oh no, we're already on pattern 1. My bad. And this isn't a sample. Jesus. All right. So we're on pattern 2. My bad. So I'm gonna fill in. Let's see, each 4 hi-hat steps, and we don't have to do that, but I like to do that. The only reason why I like to do that for most of my videos, you know what I mean, like get that hi-hat down is so I can start feeling the track right away. I mean, it doesn't have to be like this. Like in like composition or mixing triumphs composition. You know what I'm saying? So when you get down to like after you build out all your like your actual song and you get to arranging and mixing, well, that arranging and mixing can really make or break that song. You know what I'm saying? So if you got, you know what I'm saying, the best patterns ever, or you feel like your song is just so lit and you got everything going on, but it's not mixed right, and it's not, and there's no really like right or wrong in mixing. It's all kind of like up to you in a sense, but it has to meet certain expectations. You know what I mean? But you know, it has to. That's a separate thing. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. And when you do that, you really need to be able to, you know, arrange it and mix it, and that's what brings out the song. It really triumphs over what we're just doing right now, is just putting it together. So what I'm gonna do is go to pattern 3, and we didn't even change our BPM, which is stupid of me. And I need to change it to, let's see what I want it to be at, like 110, 108. Alright, so I'm gonna go to pattern 3. paint that in. Okay. Okay, so I'm just kind of messing around with the sequencer right now, and I'm trying to get you know, our patterns down. So I'm gonna go to, let's see, we already got our hi-hat. Don't we already have hi-hats? What is this one doing right here? I'm gonna delete, let's see, actually. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna delete that one, I guess. Just not use it. And we need more stuff to this. Well, let's add some more, you know, some extra. Let's keep going and look at what we can add. And what I kind of want to add is a chant, I think. So I'm gonna go into, let's see where it is. I can't remember where I keep it. Okay. So we could do that. I think I'm gonna throw that in there actually. I'm gonna throw that in there. Let's see. Oh, let's go to pattern 4. We're already on a new pattern, so I'm gonna fill that in and play it in context. And you know, we're not even close to, like, you know, we're still getting started. We're basically coming up with the track right now. Then mixing comes later, so I might not even get to mixing in this track. Probably not, honestly. But because I'd rather just put together, and you guys can kind of, you know, because mixing is so, like, it's kind of up to you. Like, I could sit here and EQ this and compress it, and someone might say, well, you know, I think you did too much of this. I think you did this and that. And, like, it's kind of meant for teaching purposes in a sense and not criticism. But, I mean, I'll take criticism. I don't give a shit. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's meant to be helpful, not to sit there and comment and not learn. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm going to rename this to, let's see, pad. Okay, hold on. And I'm going to color it something else. And we can rename this one hi-hats. I'm just going to call it hat. And rename it. And then same thing with this one. So I'm going to rename this to, let's see, what's that? Our kick, snap. And I'm just labeling these like that so it's for me. You know what I mean? And I recommend you do the same, because when we get to, you know, more complex stuff, then it's just going to be crazy looking. And we're going to roll these hi-hats kind of and make them a little bit more interesting, because this isn't really, it's not pumping enough, but okay, so it's, you know, a nice slow track. Just create some hi-hat rolls. So what I'm going to do is mess with the first 4 bars. So basically, not to confuse everyone, but I'm going to delete the rest of these. Okay? And let's work on these first 4 bars of hi-hats. So what I'm going to do is go into the hi-hat pattern, and I'm going to right-click right here. Now, you can't do this in the demo. Okay, so I'm not even going to do it like this. You click right here and make unique. But since you can't do that in the demo, what we're going to do is right-click the hat. Okay, we're just going to right-click while it's selected as hat or whatever, and hit clone. Okay, now we have hat number 2. And what that means is we can delete this. Click hat number 2, which is a new pattern, and post that in there, paste that in, whatever you want to say. And we can, then after that, we can make our pattern different. So let's fill in each 4 steps and go to piano roll. And let's pull this note out right here. And to do that, let me redo that. Let me hit Control Alt Z, set that back. Now to do that, what you're gonna do is don't zoom in, so don't hit the zoom tool, which I always do. And when I was first starting out, the zoom would always mess me up. So if you like accidentally zoom, this button right here is so helpful. Like, it will do you wonders. Anyways, so I'm gonna pull this out, and to do that, I'm gonna hit Control Shift Select. Oh shit, my phone's going off, bro. My bad. Okay, anyways, back to the video. I should have put it on silent. My phone's so ghetto though, even though it's an iPhone 7. But anyways, I'm gonna go to a half step, I think. And I'm gonna, okay, so I pulled that out, and I'm gonna do it to this one just to demonstrate. So I Control Shift Select, and then you just drag it with these arrows. When you see these directional arrows, you can pull it however long you want. And I'm not gonna do it to that one. I'm gonna hit Control Alt Z and reset that, which is a further undo button instead of Control Z. Control Alt Z goes even further back, and you can keep hitting it, and that's helpful. But anyways, okay, so we have this. Let me hit Control up while it's highlighted, and then that will cut it. And that might be too strong of a cut or too strong of a roll. I think it's fine. We can leave it. And I'm gonna go to, let's clone this again. Now what I'm gonna do is clone the first hi-hat pattern, because if I clone the second one right here, then I'm gonna clone this specific thing. And I just don't feel like going into there and redoing all that and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna go to hat number 1, and I'm gonna clone that. So I'm gonna hit clone, and that should be hat number 3. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this one and set that in. Now you see what I'm doing here. I'm creating different, patterns. So I'm gonna we could fill in each 2 steps or 4 steps, and I'm gonna go to piano roll again on this one and pull out this last note. And I remember we did, I think it was a half step, whatever it's on now. Yeah. So I'm gonna do it to a 4th step. So it's a little bit larger, or smaller. Okay, so I'm not gonna do that. My bad. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller than a half step. So I'm gonna put it into a step. Okay, and hit Control up and let that play. Let's see. Okay, let's see what else we could do. Let's roll this 3rd one, or the 4th one. Let's right click clone, and we got number 4. Now we can recolor those and all that, so it's not the same color and everything. But let me go to piano roll and roll this one. So I'm gonna roll this one at a 3rd or something. Let's see, something like that, at a 3rd beat, and see how that sounds. And I'm just gonna play that. Okay. So I'm gonna add one in this first hat, because I just don't want it to be so plain. So I'm gonna add it in the beginning and just real short. I'm literally just kind of, pick and choosing right now. And you can do whatever you want, really. Like, you can do a hi-hat roll any of these notes for however long, and you know what I'm saying. So let me zoom in here and fix this. Let me change that to something smaller. Okay, I think I need it on none. Let me just fix this real quick. This note's on, and you can cut these however way you want, and you can roll them however way you want. And let me just cut this into something small, like a 4th. Let's see what happens. Now we can change our kicks and snares and all that, and we can do that with the first 4, and we can delete these as well. And let's just do that real quick and do it quick. So I'm gonna go to our kick snap right here. You can click on it, hit clone right here if you want to. There's a couple ways you can do this, and I'm gonna delete that one. Let's go to the pattern and fill that in differently. Okay, so we got that right there, and I think I'm even gonna take out the chant. Let me take that out, hit Control C. Okay, let me delete that, or unhighlight that, unselect that, right click this one, hit Control C. Okay, now we have this channel selected by that highlight. And if we go up to a new pattern, let's go to pattern 8 and hit Control V. And then we got that in there. And that actually just showed up as pattern 8 because we somehow had that in there. So now Now what we can do is delete those from here, and then we can choose to either delete that pattern or have it on or off, and that just separates the kicks and snaps from the chant. That way we can, you know, keep the kicks and snares going while the chant's not going, or vice versa, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna fill that in there, kick 2, and see how that sounds with that extra kick. Okay, so I'm gonna do same thing with this one. I'm gonna go to kick snap. Let's clone that first one. We can clone the second one. It doesn't matter because we didn't do a roll in this one, and that doesn't matter because we're not gonna copy some MIDI notes and try to reverse engineer them. So that's okay to do this. So I'm gonna change this one up. I'm gonna add even more kicks. Alright, I'm not even gonna change anything else about it, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And let's see. So I'm gonna clone. You know, I'm just gonna fill that in real quick. And now we have like a little basic layout. So let's delete this hi-hats and that. We're gonna have to come up with a melody soon in our bass. So I'm just kind of messing around. Okay, so I mean, you can see how the build-up happens, and we'll kind of do that. But anyways, let's start getting to this 808 and add a little bit of low end to it. I'm gonna hit. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the 808, the sample sound, and then I'm gonna right-click inside the sample, and I'm gonna go to this little flag or something, whatever you want to call it, and detect pitch regions. Now you can find this on multiple YouTube videos, like over and over again. But this is so important because if you don't do this, F sharp, right? Now, let me go into F sharp right here, and that should be somewhere around here. Okay, so we got F sharp, and you see how it says 4 next to it? Well, don't let that throw you off, because that just means we're in the 4th octave, and there's not really any correlation there because we could play any key, and it doesn't, you know what I mean? But it's actually tuned to F sharp, and it even says it in the name, but I mean, aside from that, if it doesn't say it in the name, you wouldn't know that, so you'd have to right-click, hit edit, and do all that like I just did, and that'll help you get that. Now what that does specifically, and you cannot skip that step, because when you go to plug in some 808 notes or whatever and you play your pad, it's always going to sound off tune because you didn't tune it, but we tuned ours so it sounds good, but we didn't pick a sound. And I think this one's kind of like, it's a little like, it's got too much rough edge in it, you know. I don't like that. I might replace it with this one, C, and I think we can hit let's right click, hit edit, and if we go to here it'll say C because it's named that, and we don't have to mess with it because it's in C. But if you did have to mess with it, you would just move it to where, let's pretend it said D, you just move it to D by right clicking, and you'd get that. So, and that would tune it. So hopefully I didn't throw you off. I mean, I have a video on that, so if you need to know, just go look it up. But anyways, so I'm gonna let's see, let's fill in our bass. Like, let's just fill it in right here. Actually, I'm gonna fill it in right here. I'm gonna click, let's see, pattern 9 I think we're on now. Okay, and I'm gonna right click. Actually, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just gonna fill that in. And okay, no, we're not on pattern 9, my bad. Pattern 10. Okay, so we got pattern 10, and I'm gonna drag that out for about 4 bars. So and the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm gonna play this bass, or the 808, for about 8 bars. I mean 4. Okay, so if we skip to like right here where it's actually gonna hit, now we got our marker set right there, so every time we hit space it plays. And now I didn't even think I knew about the space bar for a long time. Isn't that crazy? But like if you hover over it, it says space right to the right here, says it. So if you keep, you know, messing over stuff, this is right click space. So I don't know. I've never used that, but whatever. You can cover over things and kind of. Anyways, I'm gonna go into pattern 10 and whoops, I didn't mean to delete that. So I'm gonna go into pattern 10. I'm gonna go into piano roll, and let's see what we want. Where are we at? Okay, so let's go back. I'm just kind of messing. I'm kind of figuring out the pattern right now. I don't think I want it like this. Let's get everything pumping with it. I just want to hear it. Little low. Let's see. We're gonna make a melody too in a second. I'm not gonna move him that way. I'm just kind of messing around. Alright, I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. You know, I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. Anyways, let's see what that sounds like without that pad. Alright, so anyways, let's go into that Omnisphere 2 that we cloned earlier. And I'm gonna go back into it. We already have that sound set up. We should. And I'm gonna play higher notes. What I'm gonna do is go into the piano roll in this. And let's go to pattern 10 that we're on now. And we're in Omnisphere 2. Now what I wanna do is go down to pattern 1 that we're on with our pad. Excuse me. And I wanna copy all these notes. So like you see our chord progression is pretty basic, so we don't even have that many notes to kind of get from the melody, so we could build out a major scale. And I would have to grab my notes to build out the major scale. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. It's like I could do it real quick. I just don't let me grab let me see if I can find it real quick, because it would just help really quick. And I mean, I usually keep it right in front of me, but you know, when I need it, I never do, so you know how that game goes. So while I sit here and look for this, okay, I found it. So now what I'm gonna do is 0, which is the, you know, so we count what our chord was. It was 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 0. So our 0 point, or our I forget what else they call it. The 0 point, basically, you could just call it, you know. And so we'll count that as 0, and the next one up right here is 1. Okay, so or a half note. So that's 1 or a half note. So again, when you go up the key, where you're going 1 half, 2 half, 3 4 half. You know what I'm saying? So, and okay, so when we go up. Now, to do the major scale code, we're going to have to go 0 and then a whole. So a whole step is 2 steps it counts as. A whole step is 2 steps it counts as. Then we have a half step. So we're going to go 0, whole, okay? So we're going by it so far. Then a half. So 0, whole, half. Okay? Whole, half. And that's our major scale code. Our major scale code. So, and I think we can even kind of check it, really, if we go to right here and hit major 7th. And those notes line up as a major 7th chord. So you see, we clicked on the major in the scales, we hit major 7th, and our major 7th lines up right here. So there's all of them, C, E, G, B. So you can prove that this is a major scale. This is a major scale we're using. So what I'm going to do is hit Control C while it's highlighted. Same thing we did in the last earlier with the channel rack. So I'm going to go to pattern 11 and hit Control V. So what I just did is I took pattern 1 and okay, first of all, what I did was clone these ghost notes, or I copied these ghost notes over pattern 1. So hopefully I didn't throw anybody off. Then I used that, just as a reference and hit Control C to clone that from there. And I can delete that now because I pasted it in pattern 11. So instead of being in pattern 1, now we're in pattern 11 with this scale. And the only reason why I built it out in pattern 1 was because of the ghost notes. And I used those to get a reference of what chord this is, to where I can build what scale it is. So depending on what your notes are, you can come with a minor, major. You could even switch. You could break from the scale. You don't have to be in the scale. So there's all kinds of things to this. But I just use that technique to kind of get this melody flowing. So I'm gonna go to pattern 11. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot this over. Make sure you don't knock it off the track. You know what I'm saying? Knock it off your scale. I've done that plenty of times where I've moved all the notes. I would do this. I'll show you. When I first started out, I would do something like that, and I'd be like, oh my god, where did I just move everything to? And I wouldn't know, and I'd have to redo it again. But sooner or later, I just kind of found my work way around that, and that's just kind of, not letting yourself do that. Just you gotta memorize the bottom note and the top note is what I do, and that way you'll never. And if you build out your scale, it should be fine. So, anyway, sorry about the ranting, kind of. Anyways, I'm gonna let's see, let's fill this in on pattern 11. Let's drag that out all the way. No, let's drag that out for 4 bars. Okay, so I'm gonna restart that, and I'm gonna just fill in notes. Okay, so first of all, what I failed to do is send these up 1 octave higher, and I'm just gonna do that because we want some type of contrast in our melody. So I'm just gonna build it to ear, but within the scale. Okay, my bad on my phone. I need to shut that off seriously, but so I'm not even inside the scale on D, and you can tell that. Or I am actually. My bad. So I'm gonna clone these, and shift them up, and the reason why I'm doing that is so I have a fuller scale. So what I did was just clone those first few, hit Shift click, and what that does is, copies it over if you didn't know that already. And then what I did with those notes was hit Shift, Control. No, I let go of Shift after you click and clone them. My bad. And hit Control up. Okay, and if you do that however many times, you can send them up, down, octaves, whatever you want. So Control up on your keyboard. So Control up arrow. So now you can see that we're hitting D in our scale. I don't think this is gonna get too much more complex than how it's looking. So, but we're gonna mess around with the the mixing and the you know what I'm saying, and all that other good stuff. The mixing and the arrangement part. My bad. I'm so into this. Okay. I'm just delaying that note just a little bit. Honestly, we could delay all these by a couple. What I'm going to do is hit none by a couple, literally milliseconds. So I'm going to hit none, highlight these, shift, and move them over by 2 clicks on the arrow. Now, you didn't see that. So let me move that back real quick by 2, and you know, you don't have to move those back, but if we zoom in here and we do the same thing, you'll see it. Whoops, my bad. So my bad. It send us to the back of the anyways, but if you look, so it does move very, very small increments, none. And what that does is create that shifting like we do on the hi-hats when we go and shift it over here. It's basically the same thing. We're shifting it off the grid, off the metronome. So okay, so let's keep building this a little bit longer, not too much longer. I'm just kind of messing around, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fill some stuff in. Okay, I'm not even gonna leave that. I'm not gonna use that note, so I'm just gonna kind of. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I think I'm not even gonna change the melody. Maybe, I mean, you know, like we just did with the hi-hats and the rolls and all that stuff. We could sit here and literally come up with, you know, piece by piece melodies and per bar, and we could have an alternating melody, or we could even add harmony and all that. But I'm not gonna get too much more complex, to be honest, in this video. But I'm gonna start kind of mixing and arranging a little bit. So now that we basically got our trap song, trap beat down, or whatever you want to call it, it could use a lot, but let's kind of go into here. And now what I'm gonna do is route all these. Let me delete the sampler. I'm gonna route all these to our mixer. Now what I'm gonna do is highlight all these by double clicking any one of them, you know, and hit insert one, right click it, and I always click that by accident and it sends that channel in there. Anyways, hit route, channel routing, route selected channels starting from this track. And what that does is it links all these sounds in there with their name and everything, so you don't have to do anything. So what I'm gonna do is pull these left, these chords, and this melody right, because I want to hear them separated. Hi-hat, I'm gonna throw to like 10%, 15. Snap, let's pull that right. The bass is gonna get EQ'd, and a couple things are gonna happen to that. The hay can go, and it can get lowered. Throw it to the right. Now we didn't add our cymbal in. Let me add a cymbal in. I'm gonna go to pattern 12. Let's add a cymbal in, and you know, just to give it a little more. Let's shift that a little bit. I'm gonna pull that about every 4 bars. Okay, I made that one unique for literally no reason. I was gonna add something to it. I'm gonna make this one unique and see what I can do with it. Okay, hold on. I just want to get... I'm going to add that every 2 bars in this kind of section over here. And we didn't really label anything yet, like intro, verse, chorus, or nothing, but we will. We'll get to that. So we're still kind of getting along here. Okay, so let's make this our intro right here. And what I'm going to do is hit this drop down right here and hit time marker, add one. So we could have hit Alt T to do that, but I just like to click it. I'm just used to doing it like that. So I'm gonna hit intro right here. I don't know why it's capped. Anyways, intro. Now we can make that 8 bars or however long. Let's make it 8 bars. I'm gonna add one right at 9. So I mean, don't let yourself get confused. I do this all the time, but basically 8 goes all the way until the end of 9. So technically, we're right at the end of 8 and right in the beginning of 9. So technically it's only 8 bars. So don't let that number confuse you. It always throws me off because it's kind of always one ahead. You know what I mean? Like if you were to measure 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, you'd get 16. But when you go in here, you got to, shoot for the 17 because the 16th bar goes all the way until 17. You see what I'm saying? There's 4 beats in that bar. And as soon as it gets to 17, that's the end of it. So technically, that is the 8th bar up until it hits the exact marker that the 17's on. So, I mean, hopefully I didn't really butcher that explanation. But I'm going to add one right here. I'm going to hit intro. Let's say we could put verse, I guess. Verse. And we'll do 16 bars for that, which would be all the way up until the 21. So I'm going to... Is that right? 4, 8, that's 12. So we got to go even farther, my bad. 25. Okay, so now we got, let's add chorus, I guess. We could add chorus or a pre-chorus or whatever you want. And, let's get our stuff figured out. So, this is our intro still. So, I'm going to keep some hi-hats in. Maybe I'll just keep them all in. Delete that 808 right in there. Okay, let's drag that hi-hat. Let's cut that out for a bar. That's what I'm going to do. And actually, I'm going to clone these 3 right here and cut that 1 bar. I'll leave that bar hanging. Okay, I want to add something back in after that 4th wrap up, that 4 bar wrap up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, I want to have something hit. I think I'm gonna add that in just to see what we can come up with. So what I'm going to do is not use that during the chorus, but I'm going to use that actually in this last 4 bars right here, just to get something, that verse pumping, kind of, you know what I'm saying? And let's move that over here, back where it was. And the same thing with this. Let's put that right there. And now we can call this an 8 bar chorus if we wanted to. I think that's 8, 4, 8. Yeah, that's 8. So we can add another one if we want to, and hit, verse 2. And we could delete that symbol. We don't need that. My bad. And we can clone the whole verse if we wanted to. We clone all the way up from right here to verse. And then we got another, we just cloned a whole nother verse, and now our song's starting to kind of show. And when it gets to the second verse, we can cut everything off if we want to. We can hit this razor blade. I don't know, there's so many different things you could do. Like, so many different things. And I'm just kind of messing around. I'm still kind of doing my thing here, regardless. So I'm not really focusing on one specific technique or anything. So I'm just kind of doing whatever I think. I'm just doing whatever. So now we got that stopped. So let's stop that for a little bit longer. I'm going to cut that out a little bit longer. Delete that, and so there we go. I mean, we could even cut it out for a bar if you wanted to. We can see how that sounds. Why not? We already cut so much of it. Let me hit back on that. Cut that wrong. Okay, so let's add a symbol there. Let's add those three, that back-to-back symbol. I like that one. Okay, I don't know if I like that actually. I think I'm gonna bring the 808 back over. It needs to be cut out. There's too much of it in our song. It's lasting throughout everywhere. But let me cut it off like a bar right here. Now what we gotta do is make our chorus definitely different from the verse, because it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like all one thing. And it'd take a long time to sit here and arrange it to where it would sound actually like a real song and all that. So I'm not gonna do that. But what we could do is take out something or make the something different about it. So if we go into the chorus, we can change up the hi-hats if we want to or something. Let's delete all those, go to a new pattern. What are we in? 13, 14, 15, okay. And fill in a hi-hat each 2 steps or something. See how that sounds. Just because, why not? It's good to experiment, because some of the best things I'll produce is by accident. Like, I'll sit here and do something, and I'll listen to something over and over, or I don't know, I'll accidentally hit a chord, something, I'll hit the wrong button, I'll click on the wrong sound, and I get my inspiration like that because I just clicked on something wrong and I didn't expect it, and it sounded good to me. And sometimes it don't. I mean, a lot of the times it don't, but sometimes it does. And you can pick up a little bit of inspiration like that. So now we got all this extra stuff in there. I'm gonna delete that from there, from the chorus. So now our chorus is, it doesn't sound like the rest of the verse. It has some type of difference. I mean, it still does, but you know what I'm saying. So like, we just got that hi-hat that carries our ear easier. Okay, so let's see. What I want to do is add a chorus too, and let's throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Now we would want to make this verse different from this first one. You know what I'm saying? Some way. Let's get to messing with the volumes. See where we're at. We're really high. We're probably peaking. To be honest, it just doesn't want to tell us. So let's lower down a couple stuff. I'm gonna keep the melody higher than the chord progression. The hi-hat can go down. So can the snap. I think that can go right. What do we got? This kick right here. Is that? Now I'm gonna sharpen that kick, but with EQ, make it a little more punchier. Now we could sit here and side chain compress and, you know, get the kick to mix with the 808, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and do all that because it's a little too complex anyways for people. What I'm gonna do is just kind of EQ it and kind of boost up that sub, that punch. Now I'm not getting enough dynamic range. We can add even more stuff to this. You know, it's not even over yet. So if you want to, you can sit here, you know, and get some certain. Didn't we have an open hi-hat? I don't even think we used it. No, we didn't. I'm gonna add an open hi-hat, and I'm gonna add that on the chorus. So I'm gonna go to 15, I think. No, what are we on? 16. So 16 open hi-hats, and I'm gonna throw those on. Let's see, I'm not sure how I want them yet, to be honest, but I'm gonna throw them on the chorus, so that way the chorus sounds different, even more different than the rest of the song. It's got some type of so that's where I want it. And you know what I'm saying? You could do this in multiple ways. Like, you could sit here and, my bad. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, I just want to check something really quick. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. But, okay, back to this. I just had to check my, stuff. Make sure it's recording right and stuff. So we're still peaking pretty high. We're pretty high up there, and it's mostly because of that 808 probably. I'm not sure. Let's add that. Let's bring that up a little higher. That needs to be higher. I'm gonna throw that on pattern, or, you know, mixer 9, because we have a free slot right there. So I'm gonna go here, and I think I'm gonna raise that. Let's pan it to the right, maybe the left. Not too hard. Okay. I want to call it for this song almost, but let's kind of add some. Let's mix it a little bit better. So I'm gonna add an EQ to this. And what I want to do is cut out all those highs. We don't need those. There's no information in there that we need. What I'm gonna do is kind of make these sound a little more lush, kind of raise them up. You know, we don't need too much bass in there. Okay, now we have a higher, you can hear that a little better. I'm gonna do the same thing here with this. I'm just gonna make it intense and lower the sound. The hi-hat is fine. Yeah, that's fine. The snap could use a little EQing and stuff. It's got a lot of high we don't need, and a lot of low we don't need. So, like, you can tell that I'm not using any, like, I'm not using any techniques or anything. I'm just doing it to how I think it sounds good. And that's like one of the most important things. If you think it sounds good, if you yourself are sitting here cranking to it, you think it sounds good, then it does sound good. No one's lying to you. Your ears aren't playing tricks on you. It sounds good if you think it sounds good. And a lot of people forget that. They try to achieve these at 6 dB, or I don't know how many people do that really, but I mean, I just know that you don't need to be doing that because, like, I don't even know what my kick's at right now. Come on, like, what is my kick at right now? Let's solo it real quick. What is it at? It's hitting at 3.69 dB, and everyone's always like, oh, it needs to hit at 6. If we set that up to 6 dB, and it's not even there yet. It's not even close. It'd have to be like ridiculous, bro. Like, oh my god. It'd have to be like, you'd have to do seriously. Oh wow, I'm not even moving the right one. But let me re-say all that. But anyways, okay, so let me move this into our kicks. So if you move this up to like 6 dB, bro, you're like, okay, and that's way above. That's way above. Right, we're supposed to be at -6, and well, that's not what we're supposed to be at. That's what people tell you, like, and that's like right about it, I think. $720, whatever, it's close. And if we play that in the mix, it doesn't sound bad, you know, but it doesn't sound. It's not where I literally put it. Like, I didn't put it there. And if it would have happened to fall on there, then so be it. But if it happens to be at, you know, where it is, that's fine, because I thought it sounded good like that. So I'm not going to mess with nothing. I'm not going to go follow these techniques that are just kind of washed in by so many people, you know, just messing around with it. You don't need that. Like, there's all, you think if that was true, then that would be saying that all these producers, famous producers, 808 Mafia, Metro Boom, and DJ Premier, that's me saying that they all put their kicks at -6 dB. And that's just false. It is false. Some songs clip. Most of the songs clip back in the day that were what do you call it? You know, that were recorded, because the techniques they had back then were just, you know, outdated. Like this meter right here, this 0 dB meter, they didn't have that. Like, they didn't have a dB reading at all. And that's kind of like almost like a bonus, or like a luxury type, like, kind of, because they didn't have that back then. And I wasn't producing back then either, so I can't say, you know, I was sitting there when this, but I'm just saying that most songs they didn't care about the clipping. Maybe it clipped a little bit, maybe it didn't. And clipping is like something to do with the analog clipping. When it goes past 0 dB, the analog will clip when it plays. So, and it distorts it. What that means is it distorts it and it doesn't sound right. So we've done pretty much everything to the song. I'm gonna go to the master and add an EQ to boost some EQ points, and I'm gonna put on Maximus and kind of control it a little. And we got those highs coming in. We got a little bit of dB. We want to boost in there in the bass. You know, we don't have too much action going on here in the 2000 range. So I'm just gonna kind of cut that out barely, because I want to give this some dynamic. And my methods might not be the same as yours, but now we're still kind of showing that we got this high, you know, and this needs to go down. We gotta watch our dB reading. Again, if you're like clipping, yeah, it's easy to fix that, and you should fix that. But some songs clipped back then. So let's check this out. That's pretty close, you know what I'm saying? It's probably clipping, so let's put on that bass a little bit. Okay, so now we're right about -3 dB or whatever, you know. Now we're getting close, you know. We're still gonna have to keep messing with this. And I think it's better to mess with it manually like this than to just sit here and compress it. Because if you sit here and compress it, even though you compressed it, doesn't mean that you actually did what you wanted to do. It doesn't mean it's gonna sound good just because you compressed it. So compression's tricky. Like, it can make something sound good, and it can add color and some other stuff. It's not that tricky. I'm not gonna say that, because if you're listening to me, then trust me, it's not that tricky. You will get the hang of everything I'm doing very easily. It's just a matter of consistency and determination, kind of. If you really want to make beats, then you will, and you'll just sit here and kind of learn it. But I mean, the same thing, like Michael Jordan wanted to play basketball, he'll just sit on the court all day and play. You know what I'm saying? So, and it don't matter how good you are. You don't have to be super good. I'm not super good. Look how, like, this is pretty basic. Someone would tell you that this was a horrible beat. You never know. I never know what the comments I'm gonna get on here. I'm just saying that if it sounds good to you, it is good to you. Like, follow your gut. Keep slanging no matter what. If you are producing, keep producing. If you love it, keep doing what you love. Don't let intimidation scare you. Don't let people scare you. Don't let anyone scare you, ever, because they will. They'll try. And it's like, people tell you all kinds of stuff, especially on the internet, like, or on Facebook and Twitter. Like, you'll be reading down the news feed, and it's like people don't know what they're talking about, because it's just a big mass of people talking about whatever they want, and there's no direction of conversation. So everyone's just kind of like asking basic questions that you could easily solve on your own. Easily. Like, instead of taking the time to say, if I, like, you can hear my keyboard clicking. If I type in, how do I mix my 808s? Type it in. Google it. Okay. That question isn't solving anything, because mixing, you need to know what question you're asking first. You need to know what you're learning first. And that's not saying your questions are stupid or anything. That's just saying that there's a way around asking questions. Like, you can study someone that's already done it and pick up cues to guide you on what you want to do. So, like, if I'm watching all these YouTube videos on this guy mixing his 808, that's going to answer my question better than posting it online and trying to get a text answer, which is impossible to, like, even learn anything from. A written answer when it comes to music, like, that's just no good. So yeah, it's harsh to say this and it sucks, but get cracking. You know what I'm saying? Just get down on it and do whatever you got to do to get down on it. Like, if you got to do whatever you need to do, and if you're drinking, if you got to drink just to produce, I mean, that's not what I'm saying at all, but take the medicine that you prescribe yourself and do your damn thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just keep going. And if it's hard to keep going with that motivation and all that, just keep pushing through it. Like, always believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Always believe in yourself. Let's add Maximus to this. Sorry about my rants. But, no, I love all producers, for real. I love every single one of y'all. And I don't know y'all. And y'all don't know me, really, but, I kind of wish it wasn't so competitive. You'll have other producers watching you like it's a competition, and you won't ever really like have, like, you just gotta find the right people to give you help. I mean, and take everything with a grain of salt, even the things I'm doing. And what that means is to take it with, a question. Like, take it with a question. Like, okay, that's cool how you did that. Like, okay, I'm learning about Maximus now that we're mastering, kind of. But when I use it, I can learn. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I kind of just lost my train of thought. Jesus Christ. Me and my rants. I need to quit. Anyways, okay, so let's get on to this for real. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, if we leave this like this, now what I want to demonstrate real quick, so pay attention, is I'm going to open up Wave Candy. What Wave Candy is it shows us the wave that's playing, and this is our master track. So I'm going to switch this to vector scope. And what a vector scope is it's showing us the stereo field. So let's go to vector scope. Now we got this soloed on lows. We're on the low, and you can see that our bass is pretty, centered. But if we pull this out, and this is a stereo separation, if we pull that all the way to separated, it gets real messy. Like it has no direction. It's kind of all over the place in bass frequency. So what we do, or what is good to do, is merge your bass. So now it has a direction, it's center, and we can focus on that when the song plays, and that's important. So that's something with mastering, and I'm using Maximus. I'm not using Ozone 7 because most people don't have that, and it works wonders. It really does. But Maximus is good too. I mean, I've gotten a lot done with Maximus. Now you can see our mids and how they're kind of all over the place. If we turn this up, they're gonna be more all over the place. See them? And we turn that down, they're nice and center. Now this is subjective. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of merge these 30% or whatever that is, and let's go to the highs. I'm gonna pull those separated. So now that we've kind of mastered, we can add a compressor. Again, I definitely don't even recommend compressors. I heard Metro Boomin one time say that you should manually fix your sounds. You should sit here manually, and if you can't do that, then you should take the time to figure it out, because it gets to the point where let me move this kick. It gets to the point where it won't help you. The compressor just won't help you, because this is not right. And I'm not gonna sit here and make everything completely perfect, hit single, but I'm gonna compress this. I'm gonna pull it down to about 20, and what the threshold is on this, what this is doing is the threshold activates it. So if we set the 0, is off. Like, you can literally look at these 2 zeros and think off. So then, and literally if this button's off, nothing else is on. So if you turn this all the way up, like, nothing's on, because your threshold's off, and the threshold is telling it when to activate. So if we pull that up to 19, so it's activating at negative 19.9 dB, and we're compressing at a ratio of 4:1, and we'll get more into that in a different video. And that's kind of strong compression. I'm not gonna use it that hard. I'm gonna kind of mess with it. I'm gonna pull that actually down a little bit to 2. I think I don't want too strong of compression. Okay, so I think we could even pull it down a little bit further. I'm not gonna add any gain. Let's higher those hi-hats. I think they need to be a little louder. And that snap can be a little louder. And we gotta watch everything again. You gotta always watch your clipping. And right now we're at about negative 39, and it could even be clipping over that. Sometimes it doesn't catch it. Now, if you were to put vocals over this, it wouldn't be this loud. You'd want it at about -3, and you'd leave headroom for vocals. But pretty much this is done. So sorry about my rant and everything. So thank you for watching. This is T. Just building tracks from scratch. We're not too complex. This is for fun. We do it for fun. And if y'all are producing for fun, shout out. If y'all are producing for fun, for real, shout out. Because too many people these days are competitive with their shit, and they're like, come check out my stuff for the best this, best that. There ain't no best. There ain't no best at all. There's opinions on best, and there's good and great and influencers, but there's no best. How can you be the best at a game that you can't win? You can't win this game. What are you winning? Where's the trophy that you win? Yo, you won music. Congratulations, game's over. Nah, bro. Like, that always goes on forever. Music is always gonna go on from 100,000 years from now. If people are still alive, there's gonna be music, no matter what, because it's just in us to make music, and it connects us and all that. So this is better not to fight about it. Like, bring people together. That's what I think. It is really important. So thank you for watching, though. This is T. I'm just gonna let this play through, and talk a little more. Why not? Cause y'all are my homies, and I just appreciate every single one of y'all watching. And in the future, there's gonna be a lot coming. To T. A lot of drum packs and stuff I need to get going. I need to get some stuff going. We're still beginning. I'm posting this right now, this video, on my 11th day of being on YouTube, not even 2 weeks. So, in the future, after a few years or something, hopefully we got a mass audience, some cool ass people. So for real, I just want to say, shout out to all producers. Shout out to all y'all. I swear. Peace.